talk about getting things off of your chest. Talk about confessing your sins one to the other. Getting things off of your chest. So, I'm your accountability partner. Hello. Good morning. Let me start asking you some questions about your personal life. Do you have the papers? Do you have the papers? Sergeant, take this man and put him in the clink. When he's ready to talk, and tell me his sins, then we will listen, and after that we shall shoot him. Now this is a little clip. I haven't even said this. This all happened in your mind. So Bob, how was your week? And in your mind, you're thinking to yourself, oh God, what kind of question he's going to ask me next? And here's the clip that goes off in your mind. So, you saw my wife this week? Did you look at her booty? I saw you. Were you... Oh, did you? And here you are going, oh damn, I would never look before, but damn, she looking good. Uh-oh, I better not tell him. Better not tell my accountability partner. Right? So how did your week go there, Bob? Oh, it was okay. I had a regular week. Any sins to tell me about? I mean, is there anything that you want to get off your chest, Bob? Oh no, I'm good. I'm fine. Are you sure? I mean, come on, be honest with me, Bob. Uh, um, uh, your wife is looking really hot this week. That's what you're thinking in your mind, right? Ooh, she got a nice booty. Right? How many of you have sinned against your fellow man? Let me tell you something. I have a hot-looking wife. And I notice that other men have hot-looking women. Now, do I want to sin against my brother? No. Is it natural to notice when somebody is hot-looking? How many of you wives in the church have been checking me out? Huh? Did you tell your husband? Did you tell my wife? What I'm getting at here is there are some things that are unnecessary to tell me. There's some things that I don't want to know. If you were looking at my wife's booty, all right, I might get jealous or something like that. I might even be really pissed off at you. But if it was something that happened to you, and I would be, at this point, I'd be complimented. So you like, my wife is hot looking, huh? Oh, yeah. That's cool, I know. But I know that you would never touch her. Yeah, I mean, it's natural to see that a woman is beautiful. It's natural to be attracted to people. There's attractions all over the place. And it's healthy. But now you're living a life where, oh dang, now I got to go back to my wife. What do I say to her? And so now you're living this life in the church, and it's just about impossible because what's happening is sin is now creeping in because you're focusing on your sin. And so what's happening is now you have done under the rule of Satan. You can't think that your wife or people could even ever forgive you. So now you need to confess it to them. You go and confess it to them and you ruin everything. She probably, your wife probably did some things that, you don't want to know about. If she told me some of those things, I'd be so pissed off that, and here's the big thing. We need to have the most open and honest relationship with one another. Yeah, to a certain degree, I do believe that. All right, but there are certain things and certain ways of life that bring you under slavery because if you can't face your fellow man because you're looking at every single way that you've sinned against him, how are you going to be able to believe that Jesus forgives you? When he's taken all your guilt, and this is why it says in the Old Testament, against you and against you only have I sinned. I don't purposely lust after my neighbor's wife. But if I dwelled on it or I was afraid of it, guess what would happen? Sin, taking the advantage of the law, will now make it more sinful. Satan has a way to get you. So in the Old Testament, the law ensnared you because it says in the Old Testament to confess your sins. However, it was a snag because once you started to do that, you wound up in slavery. That was what the law was meant to do. It happened in the New Testament in two places, on a couple of places. But first it happened with John the Baptist. But the thing was, there was something new about Jesus. When John the Baptist, when people came confessing their sins, it was before Christ came. It was the precursor to it. John the Baptist was reminding them of the law. Come and confess your sins, and in this way be baptized. But somebody new is coming and bigger than John the Baptist. This was a concept, and you know it in the Old Testament. And that difference was that you no longer need to go confessing every little sin to one another. That law was eaten by Jesus Christ. But in the New Testament, there were Judaizing Christians, including James, that brought you back. It's the only place where you see this idea of confession to one another. You don't find it in any other place except for in the Gospels before Christ was crucified, and in a place in Acts where nobody said that it was necessary to do. But remember that these were Jewish people who are now coming to Paul. So what would Jewish people do? Jewish people would do what they were accustomed to do, openly confessing sins. It didn't mean that anybody commanded it. I'll have more on this.